class, dynamic hips. Dynamic hips. I like doing hip stuff. I do a lot of hip openers. We're just going to rev it up just a little bit. So we got dynamic hips today. How's that? Alrighty. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's start in mountain pose. Let's go ahead and stand near the top of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart, toes forward. You might start with a few deep breaths. Nice full breath in. You can exhale with a sigh. Feel the body relax for a moment. Even roll your shoulders. A little movement of your head. Just checking in with your body. Just noticing if there's any tension or tightness in the neck or shoulders, upper back, that maybe this first little movement starts to unbind them. And just still breathing in and out. Finding stillness in your body. And feel free to close your eyes or just soften your eyes. Slow, steady breaths. Just bringing yourself to this moment. Full awareness and connection. And just to bring a little bit more energy to your body, even as you're standing in stillness, a nice full, long, slow inhale. Filling up your lungs and heart space. And as you exhale, draw your navel inward toward your spine. Just a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Just feeling your center, starting to engage and connect to your own strength. So again, as you breathe in, just feel the lengthening of your spine, standing tall. Lungs expanding, exhaling to connect to center. Awareness of self. And just go ahead and take 3 more breaths like this. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Just reach all the way up. Treat it like a good stretch. Exhale, let's fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to. You might fold enough to touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes this first time or any time. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or your thighs and extend your spine so it's long and flat like you're at a table. And exhale, let's fold again. So a good bend of the knees. We'll just hang heavily forward here for a moment. Or if you need that support, again, you can keep your hands on your shins or even higher up on your legs, wherever feels right for you at this moment. And just allow the sensations to rise to the surface. Awareness of how this feels. Maybe a lengthening and stretch in the low back, your hamstrings. And again, if you need to, just some movement of your shoulders, your head, releasing any tension in the upper body. Let's go to that halfway lift again. You're going to inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, and exhale and hold here at this halfway mark. Holding for a moment, long like a table, and then start to shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees like you're going to sit down. Look forward. Take your arms out to the side. Then inhale and reach up and rise up, standing tall. That's it. And exhale. Bring your hands together and down to your heart. Let's go through that half salute one more time. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, let's fold forward with soft knees, making your way down. Inhale, rise up halfway. Feel the top of your head lead you forward. Exhale, back down we go. Just moving at your own pace, never a rush. Again, leaning back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward. That should extend your spine. Ready to stand tall. Inhale, reach up, rising. That's it. Nice and tall. Exhale, bring your hands together and down to your heart. Let's just pause for a moment, having invited the body to move with breath. We'll continue our sun salute. When you're ready, inhale, extend your arms into the air. Nice exhale, let's fold forward. Take your time, soft knees, maybe touching the ground. Inhale, rise up halfway, monkey pose or half forward fold. Exhale, bend your knees enough to place your hands on your mat so you can walk or step both of your feet back into plank pose. Let's hold for a moment here. Just breathe in for more length in your body. As you exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, our shortcut to downward facing dog. You can do that this time and perhaps any time or every time if you want to in our practice. Once you've arrived in down dog, just hold here if you'd like, or add motion, any movement in the body, maybe pedaling the feet, and pressing one heel down as you exhale. Inhale in between, then exhale and press the other heel down. Just some stretch and lengthening in the calves, your toes. Feel your knees bend. And even as you bend your knees, you might even feel your hips a little bit as you kind of push the hip out to the side and then the other. Make sure your hands are pressing firmly, very strongly into the ground. Arms are straight and strong. We're going to continue from here, so just come back to a paused down dog. Then inhale, extend your right leg up behind you, reach back. Good, exhale, guide right foot up to the top of the mat next to right hand. We'll turn left heel to the floor behind you, shift the weight back so you have more weight in that back foot. Lift your hands, hopefully they're light. You can rise up, warrior one, reach up into the air, looking straight ahead. Exhale, fold, bring your hands back down. Slide the right foot back into plank pose, pause. And that same shortcut to down dog, just bend your knees, hips into the air. Hold for a moment as you arrive in the posture. Right away to the other side. Inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back nice and long. Exhale, we'll guide left foot now to the top of the mat next to left hand or fingertips. Right heel turns to the floor, be sure to shift the weight back. Hands are light so you'll float right up. Good, warrior one, reaching high. Exhale, carefully fold. Hands plant into the ground. Slide your left foot back, plank. Let's finish the push-up this time if you'd like. Chaturanga Dandasana, yes. Inhale, up dog or cobra. You can keep it a low back bend if you'd like. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pausing here. We're going to make our way down to the ground. So just simply kneel down. Sit back briefly in hero, then just off onto your bum here, swing the legs around to the front. Then find the center of your mat, go ahead and lie down onto your back. Let's go to bridge pose. So you're going to lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Take a moment just to feel the ground underneath you, so disengage and just relax for a moment or so. Then we'll re-engage the body with breath. Inhale to fill up your lungs. Exhale to empty your belly, feel the core engagement, and then press feet into the ground to lift your hips straight up into the air. You might even bend your elbows at 90 degrees, bend your arms at 90 degrees, and keep pressing the backs of the arms down into the ground to help lift your chest a little higher. And feel that nice expansion and opening in the whole front side of your body. Deep breaths to bring all that nice refreshing breath to the upper lungs, breathing right up to your collarbones. Very strong here, very much engaged. Feel the ground underneath you as you press your feet and perhaps the backs of your arms down into the ground. 2 more breaths here. And then we'll wiggle the toes forward or step forward a little bit. Extend your arms straight up into the air and then roll your way down to the ground. Once you've made that connection, inhale, draw your knees to chest. Begin your exhales. Rocking forward and back a bit, still breathing. With a good exhale, you want to rock your way up to seated so we can prepare for boat pose. So maybe leaning back so the feet can float up into the air. Maybe flexing the feet here, just so the legs stay very much engaged and strong. Maybe holding on to the legs as you need to literally lift yourself up, just in case you feel like you've kind of dropped into your back, as I did. Dropped into your back, holding on to lift up through the sternum. Inhaling to feel the lengthening of the whole torso. We'll exhale, nice engaging belly. Blowing the air out, feeling the muscles contract. All right, let's move from here. Breathe in. Exhale, cross legs if you can, hands in front or even to the side so you can get the feet back behind you. Return to plank pose. Hold for a moment. Let's do a partial push-up here, meaning you can watch me first if you want. I'm kind of shifting forward a little bit, pushing through my toes, shifting forward, bending elbows like I'm going to do a push-up, but not all the way down, and then push away to downward facing dog. So you can do that. Just bend the elbows a little, and then push away to down dog. Nice full breath in, and exhale just to soften into the pose. Let's continue the flow. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reach back. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat, back to warrior one. Shifting weight back into that back heel. Rise when you're ready, when there's that lightness in the hands. Warrior one on the inhale. Exhale, opening to your warrior two. Yeah, right there you might want to make some adjustments with the body, with the feet. Feel grounded, centered, yes, balanced, perfect. Nice. Warrior two. Let's follow the right arm forward to angle the upper half of the body. Nice. Rotate your arms, and so we're in side angle. I typically stay high up in this pose. I like to just brace my arm against the thigh. So you might push into it a little bit, and if you do that, push your pelvis forward a little bit, which just engages just the inner thighs. It gives a little stretch quality there. Now if you're able to touch the ground, you're welcome to, or bring in a block or a prop there. Now we're going to breathe in. Exhale, we'll turn, bring the hands to the ground. We'll step back into plank pose. That same partial push-up. You can go as low as you want or not low at all. Just a little bend of elbows, then push away, downward facing dog. Arrive here. Then other side. Inhale, extend left leg up behind you. Exhale to bring left foot to the top of the mat. Landing lightly next to left hand. Right heel turns to the floor. Floating up to warrior one. Inhale. And your exhale to warrior two. Some adjustments if need be. Settling in. Nice deep lunge. Arms extended. Side angle, let's reach out. Angled upper body, rotate the arms. Again, if you have the flexibility at this moment to reach the ground, please feel free. Even if you are touching the ground, you can still brace the arm against the leg here. A little push, as if you're moving your left knee towards the left wall. At the same time, you're pushing your pelvis towards the right wall. Let's breathe in. And your exhale will turn to bring the hands back down to the ground. Step back, plank pose. Let's follow it all the way through this time. Chaturanga Dandasana, up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Arriving in the posture, so we like to pause for a moment. Nice full breath in. And as you exhale, walk, step, or even hop both feet up to the top of your mat. Feet underneath you. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Yes, coming all the way up, nice and tall, reaching high. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Good, let's pause for a moment, just take a breath or two. All right, let's get ready for balancing. So tree pose is next. I'll just mirror you. So you're going to shift your weight over into your right foot. Nice weighted sensation into the right foot, into the ground, strong leg. Then feel tall, lifted and lengthened through the spine. We'll exhale to lock it. Then float your left foot up, bending the knee. We'll swing the knee out to the side as I fall over here. Turn the knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. I always go at my calf. You can bring it up higher if you want to, or even lower, okay? Either one, all of those are good. Then when you're ready, an inhale, reach into the air. Find something to focus on out in front of you. I've got a brick wall out in front of me, so I can find a speck, a line, a dot out there to focus on. Maybe you can find something to focus on as well. Good. So we're obviously balancing, and it's okay if we lose balance. It's just part of the practice. It's also a hip opener. Let's keep arms reaching high. Let's turn left knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Let's plant the foot into the ground. Bring your arms down by your side. Very nice, you guys. Arms down, and then even just kind of shake that out. That's it. Just releasing all of that. Then coming back to mountain pose. We'll get set up for the other side. So start shifting weight into the left foot. Root down, strong leg. Lifting and lengthening through the spine as you inhale. We exhale to connect. Then we'll float right foot up. Flex the foot. That's it for a strong, active leg. Here's the hip opener as the knee swings out. Placing foot maybe inner thigh, or at calf, or at the ankle. They're all correct. When you're ready, whenever you're ready, inhale, reach into the air. You can be straight up. I like to go at an angle or even bend the elbows, but just be active in the hands and arms, wherever they happen to be. Find your focal point out in front of you, even if it's if you're looking down, that works nicely too. Yes. Feeling the right knee pointing towards the right side of the room there. Let's keep arms extended, well down. Let's swing the knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Yes, plant the foot into the ground. Again, arms down by your side. Once you're complete, shake it out. Nice roll of the shoulders, hands, even your feet and toes. Good. All right, let's continue our flow. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose, rising halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the mat. Let's step back or even hop back if you want to. Plank pose. Come down if you'd like. Chaturanga Dandasana. You can skip that and take the shortcut or do that partial push-up. Up dog if you're going through the full sequence. Downward facing dog. Here, inhale, extend right leg up. Let's hold it there for a moment. Feel that nice extension. Be sure your hands are still pressing firmly and strongly into the ground. You have straight arms. Bend your right knee. Your heel will come down towards backside. Lift the right knee up towards the ceiling. Now we'll open your hips kind of sideways, turning towards the right side of the room. Inhale here. Listen carefully. We're going to exhale. Bring right knee underneath you towards right elbow. It's just pointing to the elbow like this. Then take the leg back up into the sky. Return to down dog. Right leg straight as can be. Then exhale, right foot to the top of the mat, back to warrior one. Left heel turns to the ground. Rising up. Take your time with all that. Exhale, opening warrior two. Settling in, some adjustments if you'd like. Side angle whenever you're ready. Reaching out. Rotate the arms. That braced arm against the inner leg as the pelvis kind of pushes forward just to keep that nice opening. Breathe in. Exhale, turn. You're going to bring the hands to the floor on the inside of the right foot. Okay, then lift the heel behind you. We're not going to do anything fancy here, not yet at least. We're just in this lunge. So your hands are on the inside of the foot. You're on your toes behind you. All we're going to do here is just bring the left knee softly to the ground. Maybe shift the weight back a little bit so the hands can lift and just rise up into this kneeling lunge. Reach up and then kind of lunge forward, not too firmly or strongly because we don't want to put too much pressure in that front knee. Just a little bit of a lift and a lunge. Breathe in. Exhale. Let's bring the hands to the floor. Tuck the toes behind you so you can lift that back knee. Return to plank. Now, we're going to lift the left foot. Lift your left foot like this, if you can see me. We're going to bend the knee. So it looks like this. If you're peeking at me, I'm just bending the knee. My foot's reaching for the ceiling. But I'm going to spin open onto the outside edge of my right foot, but I can set the left set of toes down behind me. So I'm just using that foot that's lifted behind you to catch behind. So you'll be in right side plank, your right hand's on the floor. Reaching up into the air. That's it. Just using your toes, that left foot, to help lift you up. That's it. Okay, let's come back. Flip it back over, back to plank pose. Bring the knees to the floor. Sit back in hero. Okay, just rest for a moment. You can get some water if you want. Let me just demonstrate what we just did, because that was very different from what we typically do. So we made it down to this lunge, reaching up. Good lift here, because we're lunging. We don't want to plunge into that low back. We want to get as much lift as possible, because this turns into a little mini back bend. So we want to be mindful of that. The more back bend you create, the more lunge and stretch here in the front pelvis and hip flexor, okay? And we're coming back down, tuck the toes, lift the knee, step back plank. We lifted the right foot, just barely lifting, bending the knee. I'm just leaning over to my right side, spinning onto the outside edge of that foot, and that bent knee, the toes are just close to the ground, so I can just kind of step down. Does that make sense? I'm going to do this side. There's my little kick, just a little spin, just catch yourself with the toes. All right, so let's return to downward facing dog. And do that sequence on the other side. So we'll start with that inhale, extend the left leg into the air, reach and hold. Make sure your hands are pressing firmly into the ground, strong, straight arms. Bend the left knee, lift the knee for a little hip opener. Doesn't have to be too much. Breathe in again. Exhale, unwind, bring the left knee in underneath you towards left elbow. You want to feel a broadening of your back. Feel like your hips are lifting up into the air. Let's take it back to down dog. Left leg extends back and up into the sky. Left foot to the top of the mat. Warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Settling in, side angle. Rotate the arms, left arm braced on the inner left leg. Right hand reaching up. Inhale here. Exhale, turn to bring both hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Now, you might even scoot your left foot more towards the left edge of your mat if you need more space for your hands. Gently set your right knee onto the ground. Shift the weight back a little bit so it's easy to lift the hands, maybe reaching forward. Yes, rising up and reach up. Gentle lunge. That's it. And if you want, if this feels fine, stay here, or maybe more of a lift and maybe more of a lunge, creating more of that back bend feel to get more into the right thigh, hip flexor, but it's also a back bend. We're rising back up, carefully bringing hands to the floor, tuck your toes behind you, lift the knee, weights in the hands so you can slide left foot back. You've returned to plank. Let's do that variation of side plank. We're lifting the right foot. Bend the knees. And if you start to spin over towards left side, you can set the right set of toes onto the ground behind the straight left leg to open up sideways like so. Reach and open. Even push up through the hips, that opens the hips. And then back to plank. A regular plank pose. Chaturanga. Up dog, and downward facing. Let's hold here for a moment. Again, a nice arrival of the posture. More hip opening. Inhale, extend right leg into the air. Bend and twist. Now on this exhale, unwind it, but bring the right knee to the ground behind the right wrist. We're going for pigeon. So right knee comes to the ground, angle the leg so it's comfortable for you here. So your toes might kick over to the left side of your mat. Then use your left knee and toes to crawl back. You got it. Finding a spot that feels good for your knee, your hips. If your knee doesn't feel great in this posture, don't forget you can flip over onto your back. All right. Nice extension. Yes, you can start to crawl forward. Maybe bring elbows to the ground. Your head might even come down a little lower. You can just check in with your body. We'll hold for a moment here so we can take advantage of all this nice hip release. Left hip flexor in this case, right inner thigh perhaps, and even in the right outer hip and glute space. If you happen to need a variation of the posture, you can lie on your back. I'm just going to demonstrate. Since we're working the right leg, we would cross right leg over left thigh like this and bring the leg in. Now it doesn't get the hip flexor stretch on that left side, but does get into the outer hip and glute and into the inner thigh on the right side if we happen to be doing this variation. Three more breaths here. Take your time, start to rise back up. Of course, use your hands to help press yourself up. And kind of stay at this angle. So your hands are maybe out in front of you, and you're just kind of at this angle. Your torso is at this angle, so you don't put too much pressure in the low back. All right, so from here, I'm going to step my right hand more towards center to brace myself because I'm going to take the left hand off the ground. Bend the left knee and reach back. Now, if you can catch the foot, go ahead and catch it, okay? If you can't, just reach for it, okay? You might even just touch the heel or the ankle there, but if you're able to grab hold, maybe the toes or the ankle here, draw the heel in towards backside. Now, it is a deep knee bend. It gets into the shoulder, of course, here, but more into that left thigh a little bit more, as well as the hip flexor. It can just be a reaching feeling if you can't grab hold of the foot. We're going to carefully release it, bring it down to the ground, bring the hands to the floor in front. Sit off to the right side, yes. Lean over that direction so you can bring the left leg around to the front. Let's come to Cobbler's pose. Holding onto the ankles or shins or feet or toes, nice and tall here. We'll start with the just extended spine. Stay here if you'd like, or start to hinge forward, leading with your heart and chin going forward. You might even change your grip from your ankles, maybe down towards your toes. Taking your time with this and only going to the place that feels just right for the needed release in the inner thighs. You can stay tall like I am with an extended spine. You certainly can go lower and allow the head to drop and allow your back to round. They're both correct. This is a nice sensation to create as well. 3 more breaths. After the 3rd breath, we're just going to re-extend the spine. You might just look up or look forward. Start to rise up until you're tall in your seat. Keep leaning back. And as you're leaning back, bring the knees together. The feet might become light and they can lift, returning you to boat pose. If you need to adjust your seat, you can do that. Same thing, maybe holding on to the backs of your knees, lifting, engaging. Always welcome to hold on, or certainly welcome to release. Chin slightly lifted for a long neck. Let's flow. Breathing in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front or to the side so you can get your feet back behind you to plank pose. Let's do that partial push-up again. Bend elbows, maybe going a little lower if you're able to. Pushing away, downward facing. Arrive in down dog and feel that nice re-extension of the spine. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Bend and twist open. And the exhale to pigeon. So unwinding, so you can bring left knee softly to the ground behind the right wrist. Be sure to angle the left leg so your toes are pointing to the right side of your mat. Your right knee comes to the ground. Use the knee and toes to crawl back. It shifts the energy into the hips. It gets you right into that place there for that stretch. Inhale for more length in the spine. Your exhale, you can begin to crawl forward, lower your way down gently and slowly. Never have to rush any of these. Always allowing your breath to guide you into the place that you like to be. Again, if you need that alternative, you can roll onto your back, crossing left ankle over right thigh, hugging the legs in towards your body, and that should bring the sensation to the left inner thigh and left outer hip and glute area. If you're in this pigeon pose, be aware of the right hip flexor and lengthening quality on that side. Let's take 2 more breaths. Begin some movement. Take your time, rising back up onto your hands and just lifting enough where you're at this angled body, fully extended and well supported. Stepping left hand more towards center to brace yourself so you can free up the right hand, and if you're able, bend the right knee. Reach back, reach for the air, touch a heel, grab hold if you're able. If you are able to grab hold, maybe you can draw it in a bit. What I've discovered over the years of teaching yoga, there's not a lot of thigh stretches. There's a lot of hamstring stretches in yoga as far as postures, but not a lot of thigh stretches. And the ones that I know are kind of dynamic. You have to do something pretty dynamic in order to get a thigh stretch. Slowly release, bring the hands to the front, sit off to the left side, so you can bring the right leg around to the front. Same thing, let's just sit up tall. Why don't you stay seated tall for a moment, because I want to show you something that's going to happen later, okay? Because we are going to be coming back to that same little sequence. We'll end up in this cobbler's pose. We'll lean back, just watch me. I'm going to lean back so I can extend my legs. I think this is how we're going to do this. Oh yes, let me do that again. So we're going to be here in our cobbler's pose. I'm just going to extend my left leg, just my left leg forward, keeping this right foot on the ground, and going to side plank from here. So my left leg is extended, taking the left hand behind me, using my toes here to help lift, and I'll open sideways here. Okay, a little bit easier to get into this variation. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and do it here. So you should just have that practice. So we're in cobbler's pose, hands behind you. Just lean back and extend just the left leg. We'll bring the right knee up so the foot is planted into the ground. You might need to spin the left hand kind of behind you there like that. Lean into that left hand so you can push right foot into the ground to help you lift. Kind of spin to the left. That's it. And use the foot on the ground to really help you lift up. That's it. Good. Let's go ahead and take the seat. Go ahead and extend the right leg. We'll bend the left knee, foot planted. Same thing. Lean off to the right. Push into the ground with the left foot. You'll be in that side plank variation. Really lift the hips. Since you have the foot behind you on the ground to help with that lift, you want to get a good hip opener there. And then go ahead and take the seat. Now we'll come to boat pose. Again, adjust the seat if you need to. Boat. Breathing in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front or to the side. Hop or step back plank pose. Partial push-up. Downward facing dog. Now we're going to go back to plank. Slowly shift forward, back to plank. We're going to do that partial push-up. We're going to hold the bottom of the push-up a little longer. So come down, hold, Downward facing dog. Yes. Okay, again, you choose how low you want to go. You don't have to go down low at all. Just bend the elbows. Let's go back out to plank. We're going to do this about 18 more times. Bend the elbows. They can point out, but squeeze in at the same time. Lift your hips a little higher. Yes. Okay. Hold. 18 more minutes. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. We're going to move. Exhale, walk, step, or hop. Both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Nice release in the low back. Bend the knees. Inhale, let's reverse the swan dive. Come up tall. Reach up into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Nice. Shake it out. Oof. Get some water if you need to. Okay. So that's the part of the dynamics. Let me just show you again. So I'm kind of back a little bit to do that little push-up. I'm going forward. It does put a little bit more force, okay, in the wrist there. So be mindful of that. Bending elbows. It's okay if the elbows point out, but there is a sensation of squeezing in at the same time. They can point out but squeeze in. Be careful of hips sinking here. Lift your hips. So some of the energy of keeping you up in the air is in your hips, and then push away. Because this is where we're going to take this, okay? Because we're going to take this, that same posturing a little bit from our side angle. I'm going to inhale. Bring the hands to the floor. On the inside, I think that's how we're going to do this. Hands on the inside. No, we're going to do this differently. Down dog. That's it. Let me do my left leg. We're going to be in a down dog, bending the knee. Bringing the knee in, and out to the side. Shifting my body weight forward, doing that same partial push-up, but with this bent leg, the leg can kind of rest right there briefly on the tricep. And then we're going to push it away. So again, I'm bending this knee, shifting forward, coming down, bending elbows. Even if you're not bending very, lift the hips, and then push it back. That's where we're headed. All right, dynamic hips. Let's start in mountain pose. Okay, follow me. We're going to shift weight into the right foot. We're going to tree pose again. Right foot's rooted into the ground, nice and tall. Exhaling, we'll float the left foot up. Swing the knee out to the side. Plug it in. Reach arms up into the air. Couple breaths. And follow me. Arms stay extended. We'll swing left knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Bend your right knee. So you're going to kind of drop down a little bit, tip forward with the arms, upper body. Extend the left leg back. Set the toes onto the ground behind you. You'll be in a lunge. Then rise up. Keep reaching high. Gently bring left knee to the ground. Yes. And that's that little lunge we did a little earlier. Fold. Bring hands down to the mat. Downward facing dog. Right leg sweeps back and up into the air. Okay, let's try that new thing. You're going to bend the right knee. As you bring the right knee in underneath you towards your right elbow, shift your body weight forward. Start bending the elbows a little bit. The leg kind of on the outside of the arm can rest a little bit, yes, on the tricep. Yes, push back, downward facing dog. Right leg up into the air. Right foot to the top of the mat. Stay here. Because we're going to step the left foot forward into a forward fold. So step the left foot forward until you're in a forward fold. Weights in the heels, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up, reach high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Okay, yes. Other side. Tree pose, shifting weight into your left foot. Root down, get tall, lengthen spine, core connected. Float right foot up. Swing the knee out to the side. Let's plug it in. This is already a hip opener. Arms into the air for the lift. Focusing on something in front of you. Let's swing the right knee forward. Lifting knee, flexed foot, bend the left knee, just kind of drop down. This just makes it a little easier, hopefully, to hinge, reach out with the arms,
Kick right leg back, bend left knee more so you can set the toes down onto the ground behind you. Rise up, here's our high lunge. Keep reaching high, gently, softly, bend right knee onto the ground. You can stay just like this or that lunge and slight back bend. Fold, hands to the ground, down dog. We're sweeping the left foot back and up into the air until we're in downward facing dog. Bend the left knee. We're bringing left knee underneath you towards elbows, shifting the body weight forward. Start bending the elbows. That's that partial push-up. The knee comes to the outside of the arm, maybe resting on the tricep. Yes. Push away, down dog. Left leg back up into the air. Left foot to the top of the mat. Stay there in the lunge. Step the right foot forward, forward fold. Weights in the heels. Reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up, reaching high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Oh boy. Yes. Okay, are you warmed up now? Good job. All righty. So we're just going to keep adding on to that. Same thing, okay? Same sequence. We're going to add that back end. Let's find our mountain pose. Starts with tree. So we're shifting weight to right foot, tall lengthened spine, core connected, floating left foot up, opening for the hip, foot on the inside, reaching high. Balance and hip opener. Arms stay extended. We swing left knee forward, lift knee flexed foot, bend the right knee, hinge forward. Keep reaching out as you extend the left leg back. Getting lower so you can set the toes onto the ground behind you and so you're in a nice wide lunge. Rising up, high lunge. Keep reaching, bend left knee until it comes to the ground. Gentle. Reach up, stay there or lunge. Maybe a little back bend. Fold, hands to the floor, down dog. Sweep the right foot back and up. Bend and twist. Okay, unwind, warrior one. Right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel to the ground behind you. Rising up. Warrior two. Side angle, because side angle is also a nice hip opener. Breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Right leg back up into the air behind you. Okay, here comes that stick pose. We're bending the knee. Bring knee towards elbow, shifting body weight forward, knee comes out to the outer arm, bending the elbows, going as low as you like. Remember to lift the hips. Yes. Push away, down dog. Pigeon pose. Right knee to the ground behind right wrist, angled leg. Yes. It's like dynamic upper body too, right? All righty. Now we're going to stay lifted high in this pose. Let's do this. We're going to reposition the hands so they're by your side, maybe onto your fingertips. I call these spider's legs right here. So you can push into the ground, give you some height to lift. Again, getting more in that hip flexor, lifting high so we're safe in the low back for the back bend. Just a couple breaths here. Okay, and we're bringing the hands forward. We're shifting right hand to the center to brace. Okay, you can come down low like this. Bend the left knee so we can reach back with left hand. Grab hold of the foot. Draw it in as you're able or just reach for the air. Thigh stretch. Okay, we're going to slowly release. Sit off to the right side. Left leg comes around, cobbler's pose. We'll inhale, a good extension. Exhale, if you'd like, a fold, which might feel nice in the back. Since we add, because there are some back bends in there, so should be a nice counter position. Let's rise back up till we're nice and tall. Okay, once you're tall, let's catch the hands behind us. Just extend the left leg forward, left leg. Right knee lifts, but the foot is on the ground. You might spin the left hand behind you a little bit. Here's that side plank, pushing into the ground with the right foot or toes so we can come up sideways. Really push up through the hips. If you reach the arm up and over your head towards the windows behind you there, you might get a little back bend feel. Okay, we're going to take a seat. Come back down. Boat. Just lean back, lifting the feet, holding onto the legs if you need to. Here we go, breathing in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front or to the side. Back to plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Arrive. Next exhale, float your way up to the top of the mat, both feet. Walk, step, or hop. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, we'll fold. Let's hold this fold. Again, just some more release in the low back after those additional back bends in this sequence. Lean back into the heels, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, coming all the way up, reaching into the air. Exhale, hands to heart. Very nice. We have a whole other side to do, right? Tree pose, shifting weight into the left foot. Root down, nice and tall. Floating right foot up. Swing the knee out to the side, plug it in. Reaching into the air when you're ready. A nice lift. Focal point out in front of you. Tree pose. Staying here, arms extended. Let's swing the right knee forward. Lift the right knee, flexed foot. Bend the left knee. Start to hinge a little bit. Keep reaching out through the arms, kicking right leg back for the balance. Bending left knee more, setting toes onto the ground behind you. There's our high lunge as you rise up nice and tall. That good lift should allow you to bend right knee as it comes down gently, landing on the ground. Keep reaching up, maybe lunging low, maybe a back bend. Carefully lifting and folding. Hands to the ground in front, tuck the toes behind you. Down dog, sweep the left foot back and up into the air. Bend and twist. Warrior one, we're unwinding. Left foot to the top of the mat. Basic lunge, right heel to the floor, basic flow. Rising up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Nice, yes, side angle, reach out, rotate the arms. Arm braced on the inner leg, nice opening of the upper body. Breathe in. Exhale, we'll turn, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Sweep that left foot back up into the air. Okay, here comes stick. Bend the left knee, bring the knee in towards elbow, then out to the side of that arm. Bend elbows a little bit, lift hips high. Stay up high if you need to, or come down lower. Push away, down dog. Left leg returns right up into the sky, straight line. Pigeon. Bend the knee. Knee to the ground, behind the wrist. Right knee rests. Use the right knee and toes, crawl back. Stay here for a moment. We're going to stay high in the pose. Now you can keep the hands in front like this, just to keep the back bend out of the equation. Or if you want, hands by your side. Fingertips into the ground to lift up, look forward. It's like up dog. So you got that back bend nature of the posture. And the more lift you get, hopefully more decompression in the spine. Let's bring the hands forward again. Get the left hand centered. Is that right? Oh no, we need to sit. Take a seat. Oh no, we're going to do the little back bend here. Left hand centered here. Bend the right knee. Here we go. Bend the right knee. Reach back with right hand. Let's catch the foot or the air. Draw heel in for that thigh stretch. Nice. Careful release. Now we can sit off to the left. Bring the leg around to the front. Here's Cobbler's pose. First, nice and tall in the spine. Feel free to take it forward and take that forward fold quality of the posture by rounding through the back. to release the low back as well as the inner thighs and hips. Let's go to our side plank variation. Rise back up for that fully extended spine. We're extending the right leg forward. We're lifting the left knee, but foot planted into the ground. Right hand can come behind you. So you can push, lift, a little sideways turn. There you go. Lift. Reach overhead perhaps. A little back bend feel, lifting up through the hips. Nice, good. We're taking our seat. Boat pose. Excellent. One more. Inhale to lift. Exhale, let's settle. Bring the feet to the ground. Alrighty, finding the center of your mat. Go ahead and roll down onto your back. You can draw knees to chest. And again, creating a little bit of a rounded back if you need to after all those back bends in the sequence. You might even lift your head off the floor, bringing your chest up towards the knees a little bit. It just kind of rounds the back a little bit. And for me, I like to create circles, just lying on my back, holding onto my knees or shins. Just some circles here in both directions. For me, creates a nice little release in the low back and hips. Then feel free to take any other hip opener. It could be happy baby pose or reclining cobbler's pose. Very nice. Choosing those additional hip openers that might feel good, hopefully in a more relaxed state after all that engaging. Taking your time, finishing up this hip opening sequence. Take as much time as you need. The next posture will just be a twist. So whenever you feel complete, you can just bring your knees together and even then send your knees down to the left side as you extend your right arm to the right side. That should create the twist. Hopefully brings a little bit more relief and release to the low back, in addition to the hips. Maybe your upper body, like your shoulders. So very, very much so a dynamic practice with the focus on the hips, with a few surprises in there to feel the strength in the upper body as well. Balance. Maybe a couple more breaths on this side. When you feel complete, coming back up to center and taking knees down to the other side. Left arm extends to the left side of the room. Settling in. Maybe even notice your breath. Maybe during the practice you were a little out of breath. But as we come to relaxation, maybe you can take these slower, deeper breaths again. We'll take 2 more breaths on this side. And when you feel complete, go ahead and return to center. Maybe give yourself another hug. And feel free from here to move right into Shavasana, or if there's any other movement or posture or flow that you would like to do to help complete your moving practice, do that next. And then find your restorative position, whether that's Shavasana or any other relaxing pose for you today. And again, just noticing your breath, letting your breath take you into this softness, this ease in the mind and body. Stay exactly where you are. No need to move. Just return to the awareness of your breath. And once again, return to the awareness of your breath. This time taking 5 slow, deep breaths. Bringing awareness to your entire body. Sending the breath through your entire body. And as you feel the breath flowing within you, feel movement return to your body. And after your 5th breath, taking your time, roll carefully onto either side of your body, just moving into this nurturing pose, just briefly here. And still moving as slowly as you can, guide your way up to seated. And just find a comfortable seat, nice and tall and proud. Your arms can rest in your lap or bring hands to heart center. And just take one more full breath in and a complete breath out. Hold in stillness for a moment. And as we complete our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Namaste.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. If you liked it, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about these yoga classes that you can do right in your own home. Again, my name is John Cottrell. This is MBODY Yoga. Thank you so much. Namaste.